Hey, Reuben, so talk to us. What's happening right now for this Monday morning episode? We're going to be talking about something specific when it comes to security. What's going on?
Emergency pod. First of all, emergency pod, Michael. All
Uh-huh.
right. Those sirens on Instagram are overused, but in this case, it does apply. FBI warns of credible cybersecurity threat to the dental industry. And that's why we're talking today.
Okay, so what's happening? This happened. One of the articles we're looking at is on May 8th, so like not less than a week ago, less than a
Yes.
week, a couple of days ago. Something's going on specifically with this cybersecurity threat to all dental practices everywhere in the nation, or
Yeah, so it is morphed into that over the last few days. So basically, the FBI was monitoring a hacking group connected to Change Healthcare, connected to United Healthcare, connected to Henry Schein, connected to Aspen. All of these groups have obviously made the headlines in the last year or so. Change Healthcare obviously being most recent. They were actually investigating a threat because they were attacking the plastics surgery market. And then they shifted their focus to oral surgery. And that was the splashy update from last week, right? May 6th, May 8th. And now the FBI is basically saying general dentistry is now being targeted as well. So it went from outside the dental industry to a dental, specialty, and now to the majority of dental practices out there are actively being targeted.
so then couple things. I mean, we obviously want to know what to look out for, but what's the consequences here? If, let's just say, we did end up accidentally doing something that we weren't supposed to do, like opening up an email or clicking a specific link, stuff we don't really know.
Yeah, well, it's all the way to the end is you're bankrupting of practice, right? So we go back one step, that is, the overwhelming majority of practices that suffer a cybersecurity attack go out of business. All right.
Oh.
So we're starting at the end, we're working backwards. So that means you, or if you are a doctor or a staff member, you clicked on it, a staff member clicked on it, an email, a link that downloaded a payload to your office, right? Ransomware is most of what we're talking about here. And that ransomware, let's say you're running Dentrix or EagleSoft or Open Dental, one of these, server-based practice management softwares, that ransomware was able to embed itself into your practice management software, right? Patient health information, x-rays, social security numbers, medical history, all the stuff that we call protected health information, or EPHI, electronic protected health. And if they get that data and they exfiltrate it or take it out of the office, that is a breach. Which then feeds me into most practices that go through a breach, go out of business, and then you're no longer an owner of a practice, you're an associate at another practice. I guess that is actually the last step. And that is why this is so important, is because it's so darn easy to protect yourself from this happening, but only 6% of the dental offices out there are HIPAA compliant. So hackers go, wow, we have a 94% chance of getting into this office. Thank God. And that's why, honestly, it's like dentists, and the only really industry that's less compliant than dentistry, you guys can make fun of them, is chiropractors. So, hey, those are the industries that are go after because of the lowest hanging fruit. If you have dogs at your house, Michael, I have 10,000 dogs that live with me. A robber does not want to come rob my house because they're going to be attacked by a bunch of dogs. They want to attack the house that the owners are on vacation. There's no animals. It's dark. They are opportunistic, just like any other profession. So that is why they're going after the dental industry specifically.
Gotcha. Something you mentioned, man, where you said staff members click on it. I think that's the most common thing. I mean, one of the practices I worked at, the actual doctor clicked on it and ended up paying. But like when it comes to the staff members, do they need to receive specific training for this, or?
Yeah, we call it security awareness training, or SAT for short. Not to be confused with the test it is coming back now. Turns out it's a great predictor if you're going to be okay at college. I digress. So basically, security awareness training trains your staff who, you got to give it to them. They're busy. They're answering your phone calls. There's patients in front of them. They're scheduling, they're billing, they're checking people out. There's a lot going on. So you kind of have to, if they do have an email come through and it looks like it's from UPS, or it looks like it's, from a credible source, and they don't have their guard up and they click on it, it's really hard to come down on that person hard, right? You're expecting a lot out of them, and and then also, have your your hat on, your cybersecurity hat on, and be vigilant at all times for emails that come through. So it's really important that you set up, like, let's not do a free Gmail account, right? That has no
Yeah.
security protection. It's really important that you have an email system. I recommend Microsoft 365 for all businesses that will stop those emails from coming in to begin with, because it never made it through the spam filter, right? The phishing filter. So what's it worth that your staff doesn't even have to see that email? That's worth a lot, right? And then secondarily, let's say it is something that's more sophisticated, right? AI is obviously playing a huge role in these emerging threats, because it's no longer, Prince of Nigeria asking you for money who doesn't speak good English. It's like a perfectly crafted email that's written by ChatGPT. So what security awareness training does is it's a campaign. So like if I set this up, I'll randomly send out emails to your employees, right? If they click on a message that they shouldn't have, they are forced down the training loop of, okay, you have to go to school to realize, like, what does a real email looks like? Is this an external sender? Is it an internal sender? So it's just another training element. But we're in the prevention business, right? I don't want to clean stuff up. I want to play defense. I want to block stuff from happening. And of course, the client wants that too.
Gotcha. Okay. So then right now, what steps can we do, or what to look out for? What can we look out for? What steps can we do when it comes to preventing this threat that's happening today?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm going to focus on email, because that is the the warning is specifically tied to email. It's the easy, again, we talked about ease of access is the easiest way to get into a business, is to send someone email. I can send Bill Gates an email right now, right? It doesn't matter. I have his email. I can send it to him. And so there's hundreds, thousands of practices out there that use friendlysmiles@gmail.com. So the call to action is sign up for a Microsoft account. It's going to do two things. One, it's going to give you that increased protection we talked about. Two, it's more professional, right? It's more professional to receive an email, not from friendlysmiles@gmail.com, but office@friendlysmiles.com, right? You're using your domain name. It's tied to your website. It's professional. Maybe you have a signature. It just gives the people you're communicating with, patients, staff, labs, an air that, you are a professional business. So it doesn't just have to be for cybersecurity. It can be to kind of raise your professionalism as a business.
Gotcha. Okay. So get that first, Microsoft 365.
Microsoft 365, it's a suite of products, right? We use Microsoft 365 for open dental cloud hosting, but we also use Microsoft 365 for email, for Microsoft Teams, for OneDrive. So there's a lot to it, but we're really specifically talking about email, or some people refer to it as Outlook, which is a specific email product that Microsoft offers.
Okay. So we do that. Next steps. Would that be the only step, or that's it?
We're only going to focus on protecting yourself from the credible threat that the FBI. We can have a hour-long conversation about all the other stuff you need to do, but please, the takeaway from this is really bolster your email security.
Gotcha. Okay. So get that. So if we have it already, we don't got to worry about this threat.
Yeah, maybe have your IT company check it out. Ask them a question. Hey, am I doing everything I need to do? If you don't have an IT company, I run one. I can help you out, but there's a lot of companies out there. So either, if you have an incumbent IT company, just reach out to them, say, hey, can you guys get me set up with this? Or, hey, I'm running this. Is there anything better we can do? Because there are some nuances there that are a little technical, but you as the client really shouldn't really have to worry about setting that up.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Any other pieces of advice you wanted to mention in this episode?
The FBI got involved, so they don't just creep into the dental industry just because they get bored. So it's a credible threat, and it's a great reminder to just honestly, I'm just asking you guys to do the bare minimum here. It's just sign up for secure email, which is also a HIPAA compliance requirement, just for the record.
Yeah. Is that the only option, Microsoft Office 365, or we can go with another one?
It is. I mean, G Suite is also an option. So there's free Gmail, right, at gmail.com. And G Suite is Google's business version. And that does have a much higher level of security than the free Gmail. You do have to add an encryption element to it to make it HIPAA compliant. But I just bring on Microsoft 365 because it is the lowest expense, easiest way to do this.
Oh, lowest expense. How much is it?
$4 an email.
Man, yeah. So it's pretty easy.
Cheaper than G Suite. Yeah, it's just, and then you don't have to worry about the whole encryption piece like you do have with G Suite. So that's why I mentioned Microsoft 365. And also most IT companies have a relationship with Microsoft and they can set this up for you.
Gotcha. Awesome, Reuben. Thank you so much for this. We appreciate it. Anybody listening, go take action right now. And if anyone has further questions, where can they reach out to you?
Hey, sales@darkhorsetech.com. I'm all over Facebook. You can bother me on there, or 800-868-4504. Be happy to help anybody out.
Awesome. So that's going to be in the show notes below. And Reuben, thank you for being with me on this Monday morning episode.
Thanks, Michael.